Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Good morning, good morning. It is another day of playing with new makeup. So let's jump right on into it. I'm so tired. I'm trying to stay up before it's time for me to lay down so I can just sleep completely. So Fam Bam's out there doing their thing. Husband's gonna burst in here at some point in time to take a shower. So I'm just playing so that I can tire myself out even though I'm tired. So I picked up the Essence Stick Foundation. I picked up 2 shades. I wasn't sure. Now looking at them, I don't know why I thought I was $260. I don't know what I bought this for. I also picked up the shade 230. Mini Rant. This foundation came out in what, 30 plus shades. A lot of shades, maybe not 30, I can't remember, but it came out with a lot of shades. I'll put it on the screen. The fact that stores have all of the light shades, 20 goddamn near identical beige shades, and then when they get to the dark shades they start skipping every other. I went to my Ulta, every other shade for black people, for dark skinned people was available, every other shade, but you had umpteenth beige and yellow and pink shades. I thought we were done with this, but I guess given where we are in this climate, maybe we weren't. Anyways, that really pissed me off. But I picked 230 and I think this is going to be a good shade. So face is washed and hydrated. Let's go ahead and just jump right on in. Looks okay, maybe a little bit light, but it's matching the gold in my skin and the olive, well, mostly the gold. So, and that was probably way more than I needed, but it's on. I'm gonna use just this Dollar Tree brush. Now, can't really say I remember any stick foundation that I can compare this to. I never did get the Fenty Easy Blur or something. Is that what it's called? People love that foundation. Never did pick that up. Thought about it. I literally just bought a Fenty foundation and I really thought about picking that up, but I did not. So I can't really remember a stick foundation that I actually liked. I know I've had, is it Black Opal? I know I've had Black Opal and I hated it. Very thick. It says something about pore minimizing and it was pore maximizing. And this, the coverage is good. The color is okay. It's a little bit light, but that's all right. We can definitely deepen that up with powders. I typically would prefer my foundation to be darker than lighter. But it doesn't look bad. I would say we're getting about medium coverage. There's a hair on my, I'd say we're getting medium coverage. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great. I feel like stick foundation, it very much reminds me of NARS, very much sitting on top of the skin instead of like meshing with the skin. It's not bad, but I'm not getting very good coverage, so I'm gonna add more in areas where I want more coverage. I'm really sorry if I'm not talking loud enough. I'm so tired. don't know. This is probably not a good foundation for me. My dehydrated skin type, if there's any flaking, it's really just sticking onto those places. It's not really trying to blend, and then I'm getting like gappage. Okay, but it's on. Oh, the brush is just picking up product and just eating it up. So I'm super patchy on my forehead. Okay. We're gonna keep going though. Oh wow. Oh, it's so patchy on the forehead. So patchy on the forehead. Oh my god, I don't know how to fix it. We're gonna just leave it. I'm gonna go ahead and use that Morphe concealer again. I actually really like this, so I wanted to try it again. This time without color correcting. I used the Fenty Bright Fix the first time I used this. All right, I'm gonna let that set, the concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna use the 260 shade for contour, okay? So back in a jiffy. All right, brows are on as good as we're going to get them. I'm gonna go ahead and pop on or blend out the Morphe. I think I said Fenty in the beginning. You know, I'm always just stumbling over my words and saying the wrong thing. But this is the Morphe Wake Up Artist Concealer. I'm using the shade 9.5N. And it is a beautiful neutral shade. Probably one of the better color matches for a brightening concealer for me. So really enjoy that. Every time I close my eyes, like do my makeup, I just want to sleep. So our son is a sensory seeker. Our son has autism. He's a sensory seeker, so he's constantly jumping, thumping, running, and like lunging at stuff. You probably just heard his little bone. I am so excited to find a house so that we can make him a, what's it called? Not a sensory room. Like an area where he can have like a crash pad. The more I learn about sensory seeking children and people with autism who are sensory seekers, it's basically the people that are labeled overactive or have hyperactivity. Learning as much as you possibly can about the nervous system is so important and so useful. So like deep tissue massage or like compression. I was telling my friend about it, and she, I don't think her son has a diagnosis or didn't get diagnosed, but she said that they incorporated some deep pressure and like squeezing with some of his therapies, and his therapist was really impressed. It really helped to calm him and soothe him. And so Dom is always lunging at things and whatnot. So that's why I'm always talking about my son bumping, thumping, and jumping, because as a sensory seeker, he's barely ever still, which isn't a problem all the time, but sometimes it is very, very, very inconvenient. So that's why we're also house hunting. But yeah, so you'll frequently hear him out there hooping and hollering and doing this thing. My brows are wonky. I just up, out. I used a brow pencil today. And you know what? Brows are not supposed to be twins. So we're gonna move right along, okay? So I'm not digging the foundation, but we're gonna see if we can zhuzh her up. So before I do any powders, I'm gonna use the shade 260, which is a lot darker, like I said. Why did I think Why did I think this was? Maybe I actually, did I buy it for bronzer? I could have. Or maybe I thought I was gonna possibly have to mix. So I don't usually contour my nose, but the foundation is just so pale that I just want a little bit. Like, I feel like I look very gray in the camera. Not super gray in person, but very gray in camera. This makes a great bronzer, I'll say that much. But not a good foundation formula for my skin right now. But let's see how she powders. I'll go from there. The 260 is a really nice color for bronzer. Okay, so for powder, today I pulled out my little mini Huda Baby Bake in the shade Kunafa. I don't think I've owned, I think I've owned one. Oh my god, look at the little poof. Oh, that's freaking adorable. I think I've owned one foundation, but this was back when Huda, remember when Huda foundation smelled like old lady potpourri? Yeah. And then after that, I don't think I even had a concealer, but I think after that I only had like those the little 9-pan palettes that she had. But even those I eventually got rid of. Okay, that's cute, but that ain't gonna do squiddly diddly. So we're gonna use my regular triangle poof. I like the color of this. Nice and yellow. Oh, this powder is heavily scented too. Huda, like, why are you putting such fragrance in cosmetics? Girl, just make perfume. Like, this smells like a perfume. It smells good. It smells a little like gardenia or something, but girl, just make perfume. Why would I want a powder that smells like this? I don't want a powder that smells like this. Again, it smells really nice, but that smells like fun. That smells like perfume. Girl, just make perfume. I'd wear it. It's nice and smooth. Very feminine, but I don't need a powder that smells like this. Okay, you get the point. It's fragrance. If you don't like fragrance in your cosmetics, you probably will not like Huda products. I don't understand why she does that. Anyways, moving on. Powder. Still working with the Halo Glow. Actually, you know, because I don't like the coverage of this foundation, instead I'm gonna go ahead and pull out tried and true, one of my favorites, my L'Oreal. Oh, actually, I lied. We're gonna use Maybelline Super Stay because I want to save my L'Oreal. And the Maybelline one, I think this is a really good powder as well. It's very close to it's very similar to the L'Oreal. The only reason why I haven't used this one yet is because it's just a bit too deep for me, which right now, with this kind of lighter foundation, this will work. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna use just whatever's left to dust away the Kunafa. I like that word, Kunafa. I hope I'm saying it right, Kunafa. Kunafa, I think so. But yeah, this powder is a bit too deep for me. I think you can see. But it's also gonna add some coverage. So we're gonna really have to blush too to get through some of this depth. It's not bad. Right. For blush, my new Made by Mitchell Curve Case. I'm just really obsessed with this color, Mango Daiquiri, right? So that's what we're gonna use as our blush. And I'm really gonna go ham. Actually, I need a more condensed, like I need a blush brush because I want that on. And what I like about this shade is it's not like it's revolutionary for me to have an orange blush, but this orange is more yellowy orange than it is like my Juvia's Place orange blush. My favorite orange blush, and actually my first orange blush, was actually from NYX, and it was called Cinnamon. Did anyone have that shade? And every time I took it out, I'm like, why is this called Cinnamon, but it's orange? But it was like orange, whereas again, this is more yellowy orange. Do you see what I mean? But on brown skin, and do you see how much I'm putting on? On brown skin, you can really pack on orange and apparently yellow, okay? A yellowy orange. And I'm so happy that in my makeup or my mystery bag that I picked up with this, I got the liquid version of this as well. So that is great because I love this color. And I don't have a liquid blush this color. Juvia's Place, one of the duos, had something reminiscent of this shade of orange, but all three of them would have been like a gradient versus them being the same. So I actually think I got rid of the ones from Juvia's Place, the super light ones, but that is gorgeous. Yes, I love that. I really went ham with that because I love that kind of yellowy orange. And then for our highlighter, I pulled out my W7 Shimmer Brick. I thought this would be fun to pull out. It is actually going to be in my Use It or Lose It. So I just wanted to wax sentimental and see if she still does it for me. And she does. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick eye look. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna zhuzh up my hair. We'll do a lip, and then we're gonna talk about the foundation. I guess the foundation is just the powder, not a ton, but we'll talk about those things, and I will let you go, okay? Back in a jiffy. All right, guys, I am back, and I'm finished with this face play, and let's talk about it. So, I did another specialty makeup eye look. So this is just a Juvia's Place liquid eyeshadow from the Coffee Shop collection, bronzer, and like my face powder as my crease color. And then I busted out the Mehron water activated liners for a little dot action. I wanted to recreate one of my favorite looks that I did. Did I do it? I can't remember if I just did it for my Instagram or if I also did a video on it. Probably just Instagram before I had my channel. But I really liked it. It's very simple, just a basic eye and then some dots, lines and dots. That's what I got here at the Buffet Witch. But really quick, let me just give you a quick first impressions of the foundation stick from Essence. Again, I'm using the shade 230. I also bought the shade 260, which I use as kind of a contour bronzer because it's a bit warm, but it's deep enough to do both. On first glance, I feel like looking at me now, it looks okay, but this is because it's been sitting a bit. I have powders on top of it. You know, it's had a little bit of time to marinate with my skin. When I applied it, it went on really smooth, but it didn't lay down on the skin. So I feel like if you have super hydrated skin, I'm not really saying you're oily or anything, but just hydrated skin, very little texture, no dry, flaky areas on the face. I think this would be a really beautiful foundation. Excuse me. Come on now, burps and gurgles, okay? I feel like it probably lays very evenly, doesn't grab and gather. But because I do have dehydrated skin and I apparently didn't exfoliate as well as I thought I did, it really gathered and like gripped onto any of the flaky dry skin on my forehead, around my nose area. And personally for me, it was one where the more I put it on, the more it disappeared. I used a brush. I don't really think I would recommend using a sponge with this. I feel like you would just lose a lot of the product that way. And it felt like it was trying to build upon itself, but it just wasn't adhering to my skin, or my skin wasn't gripping it. I think for the price, I can't remember how much these were. I'll try to put it on the screen. For the price, it is still worth trying. I do think it is a foundation worth trying, given the price. If you can find your shade, which I think you probably could, it's a pretty extensive shade range. I do dislike how Ulta, where I am, really just skipped every other of the deeper shades, but had literally all of the light shades. That really pisses me off. But it is a foundation I think that is worth trying if you're around and you go to Ulta and you're in the market for a drugstore foundation. I think for me, this would definitely just be play foundation. This would not be something I would wear out. I don't feel super dry, but I also don't feel extremely dewy, but I can feel a little bit of something on my skin. Not so much when I touch it, but just sitting here, I can feel something on my skin. Kind of the way you feel like moisturizing lipstick. Like it's not gooey, it's not slippery, but you know that there's a little extra moisture on the lip. So with that being said, I just feel like it's a meh foundation for me. I like to give the caveat of skin textures and skin types, because a lot of the time when I'm watching videos where people will be like, before you buy this, watch this video to see if it's worth it. You really gotta take all of that with a grain of salt. A lot of it is just for entertainment, because what's worth it to me is not gonna be worth it to everyone else, and vice versa. And what does worth it even mean? Although this is not the best texture for me, it's not really meshing with my skin, I still think it's a worthwhile foundation because it covers, it does have a really great shade range. I can use it for a multitude of things, I can still get away with using this. Even if I'm not using it all over my face, I could use it to blend with foundations that maybe are a bit too deep. Like the Fenty foundation, I could put this in the center of my face because this is a little bit too light. And with that Fenty foundation and this foundation, the coverage will probably be pretty good. So worthwhile is, eye of the beholder. So that's why I don't really like to review things, because I think, like, I understand the point of reviews, but sometimes they're just so niche, even if they seem to be broad, that I'm just like, okay, sure, you're saying it's worth it for you and your skin type and your makeup style and what you want out of a product. You know what I mean? So I like the foundation. I just feel like I definitely want to give it a go when I've done extensive exfoliation, hydration, and maybe played with some primers. So let's go ahead and talk about the concealer. So this is my second time using this. I used it yesterday for the first time. Today, it is not looking the best. Now, part of that is going to be the foundation. I have started to bump my foundation up a bit closer to where my concealer goes. I just feel like I use a lot less concealer if I have my foundation just a little bit closer to where things are going, right? And I can use a little bit less and still get the same amount of coverage if my concealer is going on top of a little bit of foundation, right? Simple. Yesterday, it looked flawless. It was beautiful, but it was sitting on top of the Color Fix, right? Isn't that what it's called? No, that's Danessa Myricks. The Fenty Bright Fix, okay? So this concealer was sitting on top of that. And although that wasn't a product I used a lot of, it did add another little layer for this to grip on. And I feel like I got a really great look. Right now, it's not terrible. It just barely, I'm having some breakdown right in here. And again, I really do blame this on the texture of the foundation. I was using the Morphe foundation or concealer with NARS Soft Matte Foundation. So I've got a soft matte finish. It's really stuck on the skin, very cement-like in the best way, honestly. So that concealer might have a little bit of moisture in it. I don't actually know too much about the finish that this is saying it's supposed to be, but it feels like it has a little bit of a gel-like texture to it. So I really got a nice smooth layer. It really set well with that matte foundation. This foundation, again, I should really do research on these things, but I'm not going to, okay? I just slap it on and see what I can see. This foundation feels a little bit more hydrating than the NARS, okay? Stick foundations tend to be a little bit greasier, okay? Now, greasy don't gotta mean a bad thing all the time, but it do got a little bit more emollients to her. So the concealer breaking down right in this area, I'm not gonna grade too harshly for the concealer itself, because yesterday it did me really, really well. And I feel like the Huda powder is supposed to be a really good powder. So the fact that it didn't really mattify this area and it didn't really set it down in a way that is consistent to the other powders that I've used is a little bit odd, but I'm gonna really blame it on the foundation. Neither product gets a bad score though. The only thing I dislike about this is the smell. Like, again, it smells really pretty. Like, it smells like a little bit of gardenia. No, it smells like soap, like a little bit of Caress. It smells like Dove soap. It smells exactly like Dove. That's what it smells like. And while Dove soap smells lovely, I don't want my powders, I don't want any of my complexion products to smell, you know? Huda, girl, just make perfume or lotion, something. Make potpourri. You halfway there, okay? But yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna keep playing with these things. This is the goal of my channel, is just to find new things to play with, see how I like some. And I like some. So I hope that was interesting to you. I'm really sorry if it wasn't. Look, I actually think I'm going to stay up just a little bit longer, so I'm gonna do another makeup look. I will see you in the next video, which will be very, very soon. Until then, exfoliate, clean your products, clean your brushes, come back with some new things to play with, and I will talk to you in the next video, which will be very soon. Bye.